Hello! My name is Literary Haley, and I love to talk about books, specifically romance books where audiobooks are my jam. I recently shared that a lot of changes were happening in my life, such as moving, downsizing, and all of that stuff. Just a quick recap, we are moving into a fifth wheel, and I'm not gonna have a lot of room, so obviously I had to downsize quite a bit. And today I'm going to show you the books that I am taking with me. Now, these aren't all of the books that I'm keeping because I was able to sneak in a few boxes at family members' houses. They are holding on to those for me, which I'm very thankful for. Let's get into it. Here is a quick little overview. Starting up here, we've got the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. Yes, I have two Hideaway, and no, I do not want to talk about it. These are going to be trad published soon, and these covers will no longer be available, so those are a must. Moving down here, we've got Sierra Simone. I have yet to read this series. I'm obsessed with Sierra Simone though, so I know that these are going to be perfect. Then I've got this duet by Sophie Lark. Again, I have not read. And then I just recently read this duet, I suppose. I don't have the second book. I did read these on Kindle Unlimited, and I was obsessed. This is one of the best love triangle books that I have ever read as of recently. I stayed up till almost 4 a.m. finishing it, and I was freaking addicted. Down here, these books are actually going to be packed away. I'm not taking these with me. These are like nostalgia for me, books I've had since high school, that sort of thing. And then down here, this is completely empty. Moving along, we've got some PR. So all of these were PR books that I want to keep. I have not read this book yet. It's like an adult fantasy, a new adult fantasy, and it's supposed to be super steamy. Now this is book 1, so of course it's not super steamy yet. So I'm imagining a bit of a slow burn, but I'm really excited to read this book nonetheless. This is a Queer Why Choose romance, and I love this duet so much. It is a little dark. I would say this is like fluffy dark. For instance, the dark things that happen in this book are kind of like glossed over, which I really appreciated. So the FMC, when she was going through something dark, she went kind of like somewhere else in her mind. And so if you are not very comfortable with dark romance, I highly recommend checking this one out. And then I got to The Playlist by Morgan Elizabeth. This is I think it's a brother's best friend, and they are doing a road trip to go see a Taylor Swift concert. Back here, I've got my special editions. I have these two by Summer O'Toole. We've got Make Me, these are foiled, and Hate Me. I love these books so much. And of course, they came signed and with some goodies. Most of these here, except for Lilac, so these came in a retelling box by, I think it's Chapter to Chapter book box. Anyway, so this is all of the stuff that came with it. They absolutely, oh, here it is. This is the brand, The Last Chapter Bookshop. So this was their retelling box, and it came with The Beast by Jenica Snow. And I did end up keeping, I have the original of this one as well. Oops. But I loved this book so much. I have not gotten the chance to read these two yet, but I am dying to read them. So we've got A Ruin of Roses and then Phantom. And then the last book that came in that book box was Neon Gods by Katie Robert, and I am obsessed with this cover. Another one that I'm obsessed with is Lilac by BB Reed. I actually got this on Pango Books, and I am obsessed. I loved this book so much, and as you can tell, I love women on my book covers. So these are very special to me. Moving down here, this is a very chaotic and jumbled up shelf. So I have this duet by D. Garcia. I have not had the opportunity to read this yet. I did have this duet listed on my Pango Books, but it didn't sell, so I'm gonna take it with me. Phoenix Unbound by Grace Driven. Again, I have not had the opportunity to read this. Most of these books, like I said, I have not read. And I did have this on Pango Books as well, just because I did not want to purchase the physical of the rest of the series, but I'm gonna keep it with me. This one is Inevitable Conclusions by Christina C. Jones, and this is a football, friends to lovers romance, and it's so freaking good. I loved this book so much. I really want to reread this, so that's why it is staying with me, even though it's on Kindle Unlimited. This duet by Stylo Phantom is Church and Preach. I have not had the opportunity to read this, but I know that these are really dark and fucked up, and that's right up my alley. So these are on Kindle Unlimited, but that's fine. I love these covers so much. They are staying with me. Then we've got this series by Tilly Cole. Now I have read Raise, Reap, and Ravage, I believe. I don't think I've read Riot. Whatever the last book is, I have not read. And I don't really remember much about this series, so I really do want to reread. And that is why these are also staying with me, because they need a reread, baby. They need a reread. Moving along, we've got more Tilly Cole, and this is a really dark series. It is on KU. This series is not, but I love these covers. They are just absolutely stunning, and she has had a few of her covers redone, and I am not the biggest fan of them, so I'm definitely hanging on to that. We've got this series, the Monster and Muses series by Sav R. Miller. I have not had the opportunity to read these yet. They are on KU, but I'm keeping them with me just for the funsies, I guess. Some more by Grace Straven, and I have the audios of these. These are another ones that I just love the covers of. They're not on KU, so when I do read the audio, I will want to follow along. That's why I'm keeping these with me. Lost Boy by M. Robinson. This was really good, and initially when I read it, I just did the audio. I really want to reread and follow along. I really enjoyed the twist within this one, and it was dark, and I really enjoyed it. Then we've got The Words by Ashley Jade, and this is, I mean, Phoenix is, I'm obsessed with him. I loved everything about this book. I know a lot of people don't, and that's totally okay. I just really enjoyed the push and pull, and just how kind of like toxic he was, to be honest, to her. And yeah, I don't know. This is a pretty special copy because I actually won this copy by Amy Dawes herself, and so she sent it to me signed, and that was just really special. This is one of the first books that I read when I started rereading, but this, like I said, just holds a special place in my heart. Another shelf that's kind of all over the place. We'll start with this one here because it's another Tilly Cole book, and like I said, she's been redoing some of her covers, and I am not a fan of them, so keeping that. This is also a rock star, like a musician romance, so really excited to read that one. Then we've got Little Slice of Hell by Cleo Evans. Now, obviously this is in a series, but it's a novella, and I got room. I got room to bring that with me, even though it's on KU. Now, again, with Sierra Simone, I absolutely love Sierra Simone. I have not read the Misadventures with a Professor yet, but I love Forbidden and I love Taboo, especially Student Teacher. It is one of my favorites. This book I did have the pleasure of reading, and I loved this book so much. I mean, they're just short and fun reads, in my opinion. Here we've got A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner, and I have not read this yet, but I have heard nothing but good things. It's on KU, but you know, it's coming with me. They're just coming with me. We've got this duet here by Skye Warren, and Skye Warren is an author that can write pretty dark and kind of like twisted things, so I'm really excited to read this. I think it's also a love triangle, so when I am in the mood, obviously when I was in the mood while reading this one, I will definitely love that duet as well. Next, we've got You and Me by Tal Bauer, and Need I Say More? This is I guess a kind of forbidden romance. So there's a dad and the coach, and they fall in love, so very sweet. This series I have not read yet. I believe it's on Kindle Unlimited, and it starts out YA, but then quickly goes into adult, like new adult, and these are really messed up and dark. They're just really messed up, and I love messed up and dark. Sticking with messed up and dark, so these are supposed to be really messed up and dark too. Have not had the pleasure of reading them yet. I just love these covers. My only gripe is that, like, why is this one glossy and those ones are matte? You know? It is what it is, though. One of my favorite series is this series by Kindle Ryan, and these recently got picked up, and so they're not going to have these covers anymore, which these were the special editions anyway, but these are just absolutely stunning, and I am just very, very, very obsessed with these covers. They're so beautiful. These two I have not read yet, but this is a like Hollywood romance, and I'm obsessed with this cover, and I love Kindle Ryan, so I'm really excited to read. This one is like a second chance romance, and I am a sucker for those, so cannot wait to read that one. Misconduct by Penelope Douglas. I really liked this one. This one is a I guess kind of forbidden as well. So this is like a relationship. I'm having the hardest time trying to just like figure out how to explain this, but it's the same thing as this one. So the teacher and the mom, like the kid's mom, fall in love. I don't know if I'm doing that justice, but I really liked this one. Then we've got Imperfect Monster by Jennifer Benet. I believe that's how you pronounce this. And this one was so freaking good. I mean, look at these tabs, honey. Look at them. And I just love a good, dark, messed up romance. Very, very, very much. Soul Eater by Lily Mayne. And honestly, when I looked at this book, because I have that audio for it, I was like, oh, you know, that's probably maybe an 8-hour audio. No, babes. Look at how tiny these words are. And the margins, I mean, you probably can barely tell, but they are small, let me tell you. Sicko by Amo Jones. I loved this book. I read this book back in 2020, and when I fell back in love with romance, and I literally just, this book is so freaking good. Luxeria, I think that's how you pronounce it, by Colette Rhodes, and it's a monster romance. I'm obsessed with monster romances. This was gifted to me, and I haven't had the pleasure of reading it yet, but you know I will soon. I'm so excited. Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling. The only one that I've read is, I think it's Welcome to the Dark Side with Zadie Zeus. You know what I'm talking about. And this one's forbidden. It's student teacher, reverse age gap, or older woman, younger man. And it's also in KU, but you know, it is what it is. Now, Passion and Venom by Shanora Williams is another one of my favorites. I read this a couple of years ago, and I was just obsessed. This is dark. This is fucked up. This is so good. It's also fairly short, which is like right up my alley when it comes to pages. And I have not finished the rest of the series. I know, don't yell at me. This was before I was like fully immersed in the reading world, but I'm really excited to repick that one back up. Moving down here, we've got Things We Never Got Over. Now, I did have the sequel to this, but I sold it on Pango Books. This one didn't sell, and now I'm regretting the fact that I sold the other one. I'm having a lot of regrets about selling a lot of my books, to be honest. This one was Valentine PR, The Trouble with Whiskey. Some of her snippets of, like, you know, the whatever is really steamy and delicious. Then we've got The Choice by Ashley Jade. This was actually sent to me, and whenever I had my bookstore to like sell, obviously I closed that, and she was like, I don't care what you do with the books, you can keep them, you can sell them. But yeah, I sold most of them, but this one I ended up keeping for myself. I know I probably shouldn't have, but I did it. This is another one by Jennifer Benet, and this is a duet, also supposed to be really fucked up, and there's a theme here. There's a theme. So Aphrodite and the Duke by JJ McAvoy. I love historical romances, so I was really excited to get my hands on this one. I did pre-order it, and yeah. So of course I've got 2 copies of Sea of Ruin. It's one of my favorite books ever, 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 ever. Then we've got Dark Notes, which is also another one of my favorite books ever, ever, ever. But I do want to reread this one because my copy of, is this one my copy? Yeah. So here's my copy of Sea of Ruin. Now this was back before, like, when I just tabbed, and I just love, like I said, just love this book so much. Beneath the Burn, I just bought the ebook of this one, and I have the audio. I know, have not read it yet, but it's Pam Godwin, so I know I'm gonna be obsessed. Then of course, because I am a Ice Planet Barbarian queen, just kidding, I'm not, but I wish I was. And my only gripe about this series is, why is this Berkeley romance like this? Why is this one different? The logo. Come on, people. Get it together. whatever. I pre-ordered this one. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive, King of Wrath by Anna Huang, and yeah, it's on KU. But this, I ordered that before I knew I had to downsize. Going through my books, it's like kind of really sad because I just got rid of so much that I did not want to get rid of. But you know, it is what it is. So starting up here, I have not read this duet. This is supposed to be kind of dark and fucked up. Need I say more? There's, like I said, there's a theme here. Another one, I got a little bit halfway through this, but I stopped reading it when this strike was happening and I put it down. So I'm gonna have to pick this back up and restart it, which is completely fine with me. Then we've got this duet by Pepper Winters, and Pepper Winters is another author that can write fairly dark, and so I'm really excited to read that duet. This one is pretty much not a romance, and this one is for like my pitch black girlies, my girlies who can read the really messed up and depraved. Now, this series recently got a cover update and I absolutely hate it. So, but I already had Bully and Rival, and I recently was able to find Until You. So I'm on the hunt for the 4th book, and I have not read them. I know, but I love Penelope Douglas, so I know I'll love them. The Neon God series, I have only read the first 3. I think I read Wicked Beauty. I'm not 100% sure, but it's Katie Robert, and I need no excuse to buy Katie Robert books. Lady for a Duke is another one of my favorites. Again, here are the tabs. Aren't they stunning, babes? Aren't they stunning? I love this one so much. It is a friends to lovers featuring a trans woman. It's set in historical settings. I really enjoyed this book. I read the selection series. This is YA, and this is pretty much all YA, but I did not finish it. I think I only read the first 3. I definitely want to reread with following along with the books because I only just did the audios the first go around, and I really liked this series a lot. Sticking with YA, I believe this is also YA. This is the Paper Princess series, and again, I just hauled all of the audios, so I cannot wait to read this series. 6 of Crimson, this cover is absolutely gorgeous. I can't even get these books out of here. They're just jam-packed. I'm sorry that you can't like see all of them, but I hauled this strictly because the cover was absolutely insane. And then we've got Daughter of a Pirate King and Daughter of a Siren Queen. Okay, yeah, Siren Queen. And I have not read these yet either, but when I'm in my YA mood, at least, you know, I have a few to pick from. Then we've got the Bridge Kingdom series. I did read these both and I was absolutely obsessed. Where the heck is the 3rd book though? I know you can get it on audio, but like, where's my paperback? Why can't I buy it yet? You know what I'm saying? But I kept these out because I want to reread. These are a little bit older, like Stolen and Flawed, but these all sound so good. With You Always by Rena Olson. These are more on like the darker YA side. I believe I don't know for sure about this one, but I believe these 2 are like considered YA. I'm not a professional, I just read for fun. And then we've got The Devourers, and this is gonna be for like during the spooky times when I want to read a really boundary pushing book. Here are some historicals. So I have these 3 in the Lindsay Sands Highlander series. I think these are like books 5, 6, and 7. I'm not 100% sure. Embrace the Dawn by Jackie Summers. And then I've got this trilogy by Cressley Cole. This is her Highlander series. Here are Cressley Cole's pirate romance series, Heather Graham's pirate series, and this is, look at me trying to like organize, so cute. Obsessed with this cover. Julie Garwood, which I ended up keeping a few others of Julie Garwood. This is The Prize. Then we've got The Love Slave by Bertrice Small. This trilogy by Tessa Dare, and I've heard that this trilogy specifically is a lot more spicier than her newer books. These I got a cover revamp, so they are older than her others. And then I've got these 3 books, and I just recently hauled these from Pango, and like literally what a steal, because these are like OG covers and I am freaking obsessed. Like, tell me, this has like the traditional like 90s gold sprayed edges, and It makes me so happy. So freaking happy. And let me turn this cart over so you can see the other side. Here is an overview of the other side. So we've got Boy Toy by Serena Bowen and Tanya Ebby. Go Deep by Rilsey Adams. The Right Swipe by Alicia Rye. And First Comes Like by Alicia Rye. And then this is Naked by Rain Miller. Here are my Julia Quinn series. These are all of the originals with step backs. So the step back is actually on the back of this version of the first one. And they're all, I got lucky enough to find all first editions. How crazy is that? I think they're all first editions, but they all have step backs, which is like chef's kiss. American Royalty. I loved this book. I do want to do a reread of it. I just had a really good time. The spicy scenes were just like blew me away. And another one that I loved so much was both of these two books within the same series by Alexis Staria. Specifically, You Had Me at Ola was like one of my freaking favorites. I loved it so much. And then A Lot Like Adios. This has buy rep. We love that. The Roommate. This is like a little bit on the sweeter side, and I just really enjoyed that book. Now, The Kiss Quotient was one of my favorite books last year, and I hauled it, and it came a used library edition, super beat up, but like, you know it was loved. You know it was loved. I have not had the opportunity to read the other two books in the series, but I'm sure I will love them just as much. Moving down to this shelf, we've got The Dare by Harley Laroux. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I am obsessed with Harley Laroux. I love her kink. I love her spice. I just love everything that she writes. An Illicit Seduction by Chinsia Higgins. Bitterburn, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And then we've got Drown. This is like a Little Mermaid retelling. And look at that cover. Isn't she stunning? I'll show you Bitterburn's cover too, if I can. Yeah, I love this cover. Okay, and then this is a trilogy. So the Surrender Trilogy by Lydia Michaels, I believe is the author. And I have not read them. I just loved the covers and I bought them. Need I say more? This series, so Unhinge and Unravel, is another one that I don't know much about, but like the covers alone just sold me. I don't know. Be With You, Wait For You by Jennifer L. Armentrout, I believe is the author. And I almost sold these, but they're not on KU, and the ebooks are more expensive than the paperbacks, so you know your girl's keeping them. Then we've got this series by Ronnie Lauren. One of my friends, this is one of her favorite series pretty much of all time. So I bought these so I could read them and we could bond, you know. We've got Archer's Voice, have not read, Unteachable by Leah Reader. Now, this author no longer writes anymore. This one was a pretty cool book, something I've never really read like it. And I really enjoyed it. Then we've got Wraith and Zinni by Rebecca Weatherspoon. These are books that I think deserve more hype. I loved these books so much. Easy by Tamara Weber, have not read. Until It Fades by K.E. Tucker, have not read. And then we've got this series by Serena Bowen, like their hockey, and I cannot wait to read. I also forgot to show you guys one more book, and it's hiding in the back, and that's Lord of Scoundrels by Loretta Chase. And I cannot believe somebody paid 50 cents for this baby. Like, are you joking me? Anyways, those are all of the books that I'm taking with me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.